People of YouTube, Heisenbrew here for the second video in our community deck build series, Modern Naya Zoo. Today we're going to be going over enchantments, sorceries, and instants. And just like yesterday's video with the creatures, after you watch, leave down in the comments below what you would put in the deck, what you wouldn't put in the deck, any reasons why, and if you run a zoo deck, what yours looks like, what you have, how you do with yours as far as wins and losses. The first card we are going to go over in this video is Rancor, and it is used in many different zoo builds, especially Naya Zoo. It is an enchantment, 1 green, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+0 and has trample. When Rancor is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return Rancor to its owner's hand. I don't usually see it as a 4 of in a deck, normally just 1 or 2 and then 1 or 2 in the sideboard. However, it is a really good enchantment as far as the pump that you get. It doesn't give you any more toughness, but power it does with the 2 points, and gives a creature trample if it doesn't have it already. But one of the things I like about it is if your creature dies, Rancor gets straight back into your hand so you can recast it. Obviously that's not going to help if somebody actually destroys the enchantment, but not a lot of people have that main deck. That's normally sideboard type material. So I think that would be a good card to be included into our build, but let me know what you guys think. Next card we are going to talk about is Lightning Bolt. Bring it up on screen here. This is definitely right now the most played card in Modern and has been for a while. 1 red mana, instant Lightning Bolt deals 3 damage to target creature or player. This is a card I like to use with creatures that have prowess. Has really good relationship with Simian Spirit Guide as far as being able to exile Simian Spirit Guide from your hand, giving you the 1 red mana, and putting this down. You can either go to the Dome, go to early creature that they might have. I think this is an auto-include 4 of. Definitely. I see it in pretty much every zoo build that runs red, and I think it would be a good inclusion for us. Next card we're going to look at is Rift Bolt. It is a sorcery, which kind of degrades it a little bit. I wish it was an instant. 2 colorless and 1 red. Rift Bolt deals 3 damage to target creature or player. However, it does have Suspend 1, so on, let's say, turn 1, you pay the 1 red mana for Suspend. On turn 2, this automatically goes off. You can deal it to the player or the creature, or a planeswalker, really. But the fact that it's a sorcery and that you have to wait a turn for it to go off, I don't know if it's the smartest thing that we'd want to put in the deck. But as far as extra burn and creature removal, it's an option. I don't know. What do you guys think about Rift Bolt? Next one we're going to go over is Mana Tithe. I actually don't see this card played very often at all. It was all the way back in Planar Chaos. This is the one and only printing of this. It's 1 white for an instant, counter target spell unless its controller pays 1. The thing I find interesting about it is it's a white counter spell. Obviously in a Naya Zoo deck we're not going to be running blue, so we don't have any access to blue counter spells. I don't know if this would be good for main deck. Maybe sideboard though. I mean, if they're tapped out and you've got this, you can pay the 1 white mana, counter something that they have because they wouldn't be able to tap for 1. I think it's an interesting inclusion just in case we need counter spells for anything. I don't know. I don't know if we would need Mana Tithe, but it's an interesting card anyway. And I had it in the collection, so I thought I'd bring it into this video. Next card we're going to be looking at is Become Immense. Used in zoo decks, used in blue decks, used a lot in different frontier decks, used in Infect. Honestly thought this was going to get the old ban hammer this past week when they did the modern bans, but it didn't. Golgari Grave Troll didn't, but I thought Become Immense would because I figured they'd want to lower the power of Infect decks and some of the other decks that run this card. Anyway, it's 5 colorless and 1 green for an instant. Does have Delve. Target creature gets +6/+6 until end of turn. You're never casting it for 6 because usually modern games don't go until turn 6. So really, you're using the Delve feature, which each card you exile from your graveyard while casting this spell pays for 1. Normally, you're only paying the 1 green mana to pump a creature up 6/6. Um, I've got a couple copies of this, so it could go main deck, it could go sideboard. I'm open to suggestions on that one. Next card we're going to be looking at is Seal of Primordium. This is 1 colorless and 1 green for an enchantment. Sacrifice Seal of Primordium, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Artifact and enchantment removal is always good to pack sideboard. Could be used main deck, especially against something like Tron or Chalice of the Void or Aether Vial, if you're going against Merfolk or one of those decks. A card that I really like, it's cheap, and let's say you're running a deck that cares about what you have in the yard. Let's say you're playing Tarmogoyf. Obviously, having an enchantment in the graveyard would help that. Helps with Delirium, and it's cheap. So get rid of target artifact or enchantment for 2 mana. You really can't beat that. Next card we're going to take a look at is Temur Battle Rage, and it has totally taken off because of Frontier mostly. But Zoo decks play it. I've seen some Infect decks that run red play it. It's 1 colorless, 1 red for an instant. Target creature gains double strike until end of turn. It does have Ferocious. That creature also gains trample until end of turn if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. 4 copies of this is the normal in most Zoo decks, so that's why it is on our list and I have them. Next card we're going to talk about is Disenchant, and it is 1 colorless and 1 white for an instant. Destroy a target artifact or enchantment. Like I said, artifact and enchantment removal is something that's good to have. May have one of them main deck, the rest in the sideboard. I don't know. When we have the sideboard video, when we talk about lands as well, that'll be a card that we discuss. Next card we're going to talk about is Mutagenic Growth. A lot of Zoo decks run this. Infect runs it. It's Phyrexian mana for an instant. It can be paid with either 1 green or 2 life. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Death Shadow Zoo likes this because they're trying to get their life total down so that the Death Shadow has a high power and toughness. They're usually trying to get down to just 1 or 2 or 3 life. That way it's either a 10, 11, or 12 power. But it's something that we can use as far as the Phyrexian mana. That way, with something like Monastery Swiftspear, it hits the prowess trigger, but we didn't have to spend any mana to cast it. I think that would be a pretty decent inclusion into our deck. And the last card we are going to look at today is Vines of Vastwood, another card that sees play in most Zoo builds. And in fact, a single green. Target creature can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control this turn. It also has Kicker for another green, so for 2 green, you get that, plus the target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn. So another good pump spell. If you're able to latch that on with a Temur Battle Rage on something like the Monastery Swiftspear or the Wild Nacatl, Curd Ape, anything like that, you're going to get in a lot of damage. Anyway, that's all for instant sorceries and enchantments. Our next video is going to be lands and sideboard. But please leave a thumbs up, comment on the video, let me know what cards you would like to see in the deck, what you wouldn't put in the deck. I am going to go play pre-release for Aether Revolt. That starts tonight at midnight, so hopefully I'll get a game or 2 in on there and let you know how I do. You guys have a good day. Thank you for watching. I will see you later.